Hey everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying the program so far. This module is about spirituality. Now I know this is a touchy subject for everybody because everybody has a different belief system, different God, different faith, or even some people just don't believe in a higher power in general. And that's okay. We're not here to judge, condemn, or anything like that. But we're just here to maybe approach the situation and maybe introduce it and really tell you the importance of believing in something higher than yourself.
Yeah, this is an idea to maybe open some doors if you're open to it, and also to let you know that for me, spirituality, a higher power, whatever you want to call it, God, whatever it is that you believe in or not, it played a huge part in my recovery, and so we would be doing a disservice to you and to anybody that purchased this program that if we didn't mention it. So that's pretty much where we're at with it. And we do understand that it could be touchy for some individuals, and that's completely okay. We're not here to change anyone's belief system whatsoever.
Yes, absolutely. See, I can relate to just about anybody listening to this program because I went from anywhere from atheist to agnostic to Buddhism to Judaism to New Age spirituality, Native American, and even now that I'm a Christian, Christianity. But I've seen all the spectrums and I experienced all the different belief systems and the powers and the advantages to having that higher faith in your life. And if you guys don't have a higher faith or higher power in your life, that's okay too. Whatever works for you. But I feel like if you do enough research and if you look into it, you'll find what the truth is to you, and always use it to leverage and give you an advantage in life.
Now I can relate too, actually, because I grew up in a Christian household myself, and I went to church regularly on Sunday, and well, almost regularly. I was for a little bit of time in my life, I would say for a solid 5, 6, 7 years, and I did go to youth group, and I was the troublemaker in youth group. That did not change, but also when I got sober, just to give you a little bit of background on my spiritual journey and different ideas. I kind of shied away for a little bit from the church after I left and got older, and my belief system has also changed in my recovery. I believe for me, I went to AA, and something that really helped me was somebody told me, listen, you don't have to believe in God, you don't have to believe in anything specific, but do you think that the group of people in this meeting, are they helping you become your higher self? Are you getting better by listening to these groups of people? And I thought, yeah, I did. I was able to accomplish some sobriety for myself and string together consecutive days for the first time ever. I never went the sober route, and it made a lot of sense to me that for some reason there was some type of spiritual connectivity between people that I was listening to, and that groups of individuals coming together was helping me in a greater way. And I was seeing clear results. I couldn't ignore it, and I couldn't explain how it was happening, but I knew that there was a connection between me and everybody else, and it was definitely to my benefit. And it's also changed as well. I mean, I once believed in the sun as being my higher power because I needed to see something physical. I needed to see some proof that there was something that was greater than me, and it made a lot of sense. I saw the sun come up and go down every single day. It gives off life. We cannot survive without the sun. The earth would not exist without the sun. Nothing can grow here without it. So that made a lot of sense to me. And then other things kind of made sense to me where my higher power were old family and friends that passed that I thought were looking over me, and so on and so on. And it's changed for me as well. So, we're coming from a place where we've had different belief systems and ideologies throughout our lives. So we want to make that connection with you that maybe what you believe in now or don't believe in now can change as well. And that's completely fine.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I love you. Make so many fascinating points. I love this guy. Uh, One thing that really stuck with me in my spiritual path was that humans are designed to worship. Now, this night might not be the same worship as what you might think of worshiping. Some people worship the sun. Some people worship the gods. Some people worship the universe. Some people worship good looks or fame or fortune
Money,
or
yeah.
money. You can worship anything. We're designed to idolize something in our lives outside of us. But the interesting thing is, if you idolize something in this world that can be taken away from you, you'll never have enough of it. If you worship money, if money's your God, and you worship money, you will never be rich enough. If you worship people that look good looking or are famous, you'll never be good looking enough, never be famous enough. But if you worship something that's larger than yourself, maybe an AA group, maybe the universe, maybe God, maybe whoever you might do, that can never be taken away from you because it's bigger than yourself, and you have no control over it. But you can show your love, and you can show your appreciation for whatever that is. And what it does is it takes you outside of yourself. Once you get outside of yourself, that's half the battle of addiction. Once you stop thinking about me, 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 and you think about us or we, it becomes more contributing and growth. When we talked about the six human needs, it fulfills so many of those needs. See, spirituality is extremely important, however you want to perceive it and look at it, because it's a way of getting outside of ourselves, knowing that we're not fully in control. There's something bigger at work. There's something more out there that really influences our lives and really looks over us in so many different ways.
And one of the things about spirituality, the way that I tie it into my life, it's a very quick reminder. It's very easy for me to worry about, and you touched on it a little bit a minute ago, my needs. What about me? It's very easy to get into this pattern of thinking about what are our needs met. And one of the things that I try to look to is when I think of a higher power, I think of spirituality. Really, the key factor is ego deflation. It's about humility. And the word humility or being humble, it almost sounds like it's easy to place a negative context with the word because you think of humiliation or you think of humiliated. And it can remind you easily of it can put you in a negative place if you don't understand the context of it. And I think what's important to is understanding how small we really are in the big scheme of things, but also we're very significant at the same time. Our lives matter,
Yeah.
and I know that. I want to make a huge difference in the world, and I know that you do too. And I know that whoever's watching this, you can as well. Everybody can contribute in some way.
Yeah, I love what you said about humility and if you think of humiliation and everything like that. I'll be honest, I had the most humbling experience, more about humbling, being humbled about it. You know how humiliating it was to be in the hospital and having beautiful women wipe my behind while I couldn't even move? It was humiliating, but it was very humbling because uh, it kind of took me down off my pedestal, off my notch, and really realized that we're all vulnerable. We're all uh, have fragile places in our lives, and everybody's there, and it's okay to be humble. In fact, in a lot of different spiritual teachings, they tell you about being humble because that's where you really have the true power. When you have somebody that walks in a room and thinks he's a hot shot, everybody thinks he's a freaking jerk, you know?
And it's usually making up for something anyway.
Exactly.
There's a reason why you come off that way.
Exactly. One of the big things that I love about spirituality is that it gives you a newfound moral compass. It is the integrity and the morality that is etched on our hearts, each and every single one of us. The reason why we know right from wrong, because if there was none of that, then who says what's good and who says what's bad? There has to be an overall point of reference to what is good.
I love that you said that because when you just reminded me of I think back to times where I had a gut instinct. I had something where I knew it was either the right thing to do, the wrong thing to do. How do you explain that? You can't explain that because we're all given that. And that is a gift. I like to look at it, or that's a gift from God. That's a gift from a higher power. That is a direct connection to you and a higher self. It's something that you cannot explain. You don't know how we have it. We all have it. Everybody knows it. Like science can't really explain how that happens. Like everybody has a conscious. Everybody is given this gut feeling, and it's something that you can't explain, but we all have. And like you said, it's developing. It's a moral compass. It's something that you might not be able to explain God or a higher power, but you can still know that something is there. And it's kind of one of those examples of that.
Yeah, there has to be a reference point to really discover what's good and bad. If there's no higher power, if there's no universe, then good and bad is subjective to the individual. I get to choose what's good. I get to choose what's bad. And if we all have different reasons of what is good and bad, then the whole world is all botched up because we don't know what side is up and what side is down. So the important part of having a higher power is really about all the things we just discussed. Ego deflation, not being so egotistical, humility, being humbled, knowing that we're extremely significant, but at the same time we're insignificant. We're so tiny on the scale of what the world is and who and what this is all about, and how many people are here. I mean, we're so minuscule in comparison, but yet so significant to our Creator and to our higher power. You have unique beauty about each and every single one of you. And the moral compass. Having a higher power that you believe in that keeps you accountable for what you do, whether you believe in karma, whether you believe there's a guy in the sky, whether you believe that the universe in a whole keeps an idea and a track of everything that you do. However you look at it, it keeps you honest. It keeps you on point. So you're not out there pillaging.
Yeah, no, there needs to be a consequence for the actions that we take.
And if you think somebody's watching you for the rest of your life, it'll keep you convicted to be doing the right thing.
And I believe in to touch on that. Like I believe in karma. I mean, karma is just a very, and I don't even mean in the religious sense. I just mean like it's just so basic. Like if you give out good to the world, you're going to get good back. If you give off negative energy and negative vibes, you're going to view the world that way, and your interactions are going to be the result. The results you're going to get are going to be from that as well. I mean, it's just very self-explanatory if you think about it, you know. And so karma's a big one for me too.
Yeah, I love that. And another big thing is I always like to get people going and thinking about is whatever your higher power is. Think about it this way: prayer and meditation. Prayer is speaking into existence what you're thankful for, what you want, what you need in life, and what area that you're trying to head in the right direction. It's putting it into existence, whether there's a God listening to you, or the universe, or some kind of energy that takes that and transmute it into something, but you're putting it out there. And you're saying, this is what I'm thankful for, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I'm praying for, ultimately. So prayer is talking to your higher power. And meditation is listening to your higher power. There has to be that back and forth. When you sit real quiet and you really start to think of your thoughts and just open yourself up to suggestion, this is where you're going to start getting answers from whatever your higher power must be. And there has to be that back and forth. Because you can't talk all the time and not hear. And you can't listen all the time without adding something to it.
And the only way that you could be a good communicator is by actually being a good listener first, you know, and that's a huge part of it. And for me, meditation is a huge part of my daily routine. I mean, it's changed my life completely. I do TM, which is Transcendental Meditation, and I put aside 20 minutes a day, 22 minutes to be exact. It's 22 minutes, twice a day, no matter what. I never miss it. No matter what, my schedule is based in a way where I always set aside time at night for my meditation, and of course in the morning as well. And the amount of growth that I've done in the last, what's it been, 3 years maybe even, is definitely directly correlated to starting to practice to kind of decompress and give myself some time to really just be. That's what meditation is. It's really just being and experiencing and connecting to your higher self in a sense.
So, like we said, having a higher power really takes the attention off of yourself and you start looking outward. This is huge when it comes to your 6 human needs because you're going to get into the habit of contributing to something outside of yourself and growing in that aspect as well. Having spiritual faith and belief is going to have you wanting to pour out into other people, become better, and be able to add value to this world. Between the moral compass and knowing what your purpose is, you'll be able to leverage your faith to influence and help so many people that you come across.
Yeah, I like the term. Faith. Faith is knowing, and I think a lot of people struggle because in the beginning you don't ever really know something. Usually, you start with belief. You have certain hypothesis. You have maybe certain speculation, certain ideas, a certain belief system. But believing isn't knowing. Faith, it's kind of like guessing and testing. Faith is knowing, no matter what it is that you're going through. When you have faith that it's going to work out no matter what, no matter how it looks right now, it's you're not so worried about the process of getting there. You just know that you'll get there at some point. And that's the difference between faith and belief.
And that's excellent. And what is recovery all about? Having faith that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Having faith that if you do this one step at a time, one breath at a time, one day at a time, and add up all those days, you'll have sobriety. By having faith in a higher power and a higher something bigger than yourself, it gives you the strength to overcome addiction and alcoholism. That's just the bottom line. Your faith is your most powerful superpower. And any way that you can build that and make it bigger and better and stronger, well, you better sign up right now because you're going to need all the faith you could possibly find. Yes, by building your faith, you will truly become unstoppable. And having a belief system and a faith that there's something out there bigger than yourself or higher than yourself will give you strength and assurance and security, because there's going to be some days that you don't think you're strong enough to get through it. There's going to be some days that life is going to beat you down. Life is not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and still keep getting back up. How much you could take and keep moving forward. And your faith and belief is going to be your number one strength to get back up when you got knocked down.
And also, something that really helped me with developing faith and really understanding that something was bigger than me out there was it really gave me a sense of relief because I didn't feel like I needed to be in control of everything anymore. And I think a big problem for me was I felt like I had to control all the pieces in my life, not just me, all the people around me, how I thought things needed to be, how I thought the outcome should look. And what I realized was once you really understand how little you actually control, and it's just your actions and your mindset, there is so much freedom in that because you're not attached to certain outcomes that you demand from the world and from other people. You can kind of just sit back and focus on doing your part. And it really tempers your expectations and it's a really huge tool. It made me realize like we said before, how significant we are, but also insignificant. Like we can't control much. We just control our part in it. And that was a huge sense of relief. I don't want to control everything around me and all these other things. Imagine having to make certain decisions every single day of how the outcome needs to be, how things need to operate, and also focus on you. It's it's a huge breath of fresh air. And also another thing I realized was I used to label things that this is bad, this is good for me in my life, this is going to be a negative, this is going to be a positive. And what I learn now, because now I have faith in the process and how things have worked out, I truly understand I have no idea what is actually good for me and what is actually bad for me. Because when I look back on my journey and where I'm up to now, I'm only 28 years old right now at this point in time, which is nothing. I mean, we still have so much more time.
Mm.
But from what I look back on what I've experienced so far, the things that I thought were the worst things in my life, they ended up being the best things that could have ever happened to me. And if you were to have told me that in the moment when I was sitting in jail, going through withdrawals, when I was, robbing a gas station and I was looking at, I thought I was looking at 5, 6 years in prison. When I was at my all-time lows and didn't want to live anymore, I mean, listen, I would have told you that this is the worst thing that could possibly happen to me. And I know for a fact that I would not be where I am today without these things happening to me. And what does that mean? It means that I have no idea what is good for me, what is bad for me, and that the results in my life are going to play out how they're supposed to, not because of how I think it needs to be.
Mm.
So,
See, this is great. I love what you just said, and it's absolutely so important. So we say that we don't know what's good and right. Well, God or the universe or whatever that higher power to you knows all, knows what's best. And He learns how to turn your mess into your message, take your pain into your purpose. He uses everything for good, even the things that you thought were the worst parts of your life. He's done it to build your strength, build character, build toughness of skin. He gets you strengthened, or the universe gets you strengthened for the next battle, for the next step. All of this is a training purpose, this whole life that you have. It's creating you to be the person that you were designed to be. So there's going to be great days. And to be honest, I remember the worst days more than I remember the great days.
100%.
And they shaped me into the person I am today 10 times better than the good days did or successes did. My failures literally made me the person I am today. And I am so grateful each and every day. I tell my clients to be thankful for every day because there's a jewel and gold in each and every moment. It's your job to figure out what that is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this module, and if you didn't have faith before this, I hope it gives you a thought to maybe look into it for yourself, whatever that might be. If you do have faith in something or some higher power, I hope it strengthens it and you lean more on it, because there's unlimited strength in the universe. You could tap into it just by be connected by your higher power. And it's absolutely vital and imperative for people in recovery to have faith. But you get to choose what you have faith in.